Oh, yes. Okay. So, I am finally done. It's gonna must go. Finally done. I mean, I borrowed this book sometime in May, and today is when was this again? I think this was like I got it like the second week of May, and this is like the second week of June, or probably almost third week. So, but I found this book. I've been looking for this. No, well, I mean, I first came across this book at Terra Culture in Lagos in like 2015 or so, because I usually just hang. They have a bookstore there, so I went there, just looked around, tried to find like books that I might be interested in, etc. All of that, and it was one of the books. The name just caught my eye. Like, oh, Ghana must go, Taiye, Selasi, and just in case it's kind of. I hope it's probably going to be reversed in the video, but yeah, Ghana must go, and so yeah, like I was saying, I first came across the book in Lagos Terra Culture in like 2015. In 2015 or 2014, I don't remember. But it was just one of those days I was just hanging out. I was on the island then, and then, yeah, I was hanging out then. I think we had, there was an event or so that I went with Trish. I'm I'm mixing up dates, but anyway, the dates doesn't matter. So I saw it, put it on my notepad, like memo thing, like okay, list of books. I still have a list of books actually, a whole lot of them that maybe were supposed to be on my wish list or and all that. So, but I had it there, and then 2 years go by, and I'm done with school, and it's just like a vacation type of period for me. So I just think someone was actually talking about it. And I was like, oh yeah, I had this thing on my list for a long time. Like, must check it out. Maybe they do have it at my school's library. But because I was living far away from my school's library, I found the library near me, and because I already have a library card here. So I just felt like I had to take advantage. Oh, peep my gold 24 balloons. Arizona talked to it. But anyway, I just had to take like advantage. I had to take advantage of what I found. I'm sorry. I had to take advantage of the free library services where you can just borrow books. You don't even have to pay. I mean, if you're paying taxes, library services are free. So I just checked the catalog and I found it. I was so excited. It was in another library, but then you can always request for it in the library near you. So I did that and I got it. I was so happy about it. And then I started reading it. And the first few chapters they were I. They were, like, okay, I'm getting to know this person, no, not protagonist. Sorry, I didn't know the literature in school. But the main, I don't know if yeah, the main character in the book, who everything else for the rest of the book is built around. So it's like, I've never read her books before. So, and I have a thing with books where they keep giving you flashbacks and you come back to the present and then flashback again. And at some point you feel like you're lost. Like, okay, if the author is talking about something at that moment, it sounds like, okay, is this for the present or for the past? Like, I have no idea, so I'm a bit confused. I have to like read the whole chapter again. So that's how it felt, even though it was interesting. And then there was a way she was kind of building, tension, because there were like secrets that he had. There were situations that the character went through, and I'm like, okay, just get to it. Get to it already, please. I just want to know. Let me know and just be done with it. You know? So, yeah. So that's how it was for the first few chapters. And then, because the character dies, and so she's like going back and forth with things that lead up to his death. And so we finally end his own chapter where he's like his story and some things are like revealed. It's like, oh, Then we now move to the rest of the characters, so mostly his family members and all. And it started to get interesting. I was like, yes, here we go. Okay, so it's actually not bad. Because at some point I was starting to feel like, you know what, maybe Chimamanda is actually the only African writer that's I probably like. Because I tried this other writer. She's a British writer, and I wasn't really feeling her book. So, like, okay, maybe it's a non-African thing, but apparently Taiye, she nailed it. She nailed this book. Like, I got to the middle of it. I got to the middle of the book and I could not drop it. Like, every time I dropped it, I was like, oh my god, I'm missing so much. I have to do all this, but I need to finish it. And then I finished it and it was like, oh, it's all finished. But then it was like a happy ending. And there's some books that it's either the ending is sad or the ending is just like bleh, okay, whatever. But they had a happy ending. And I just put like a few notes of the things I wanted to just talk about in the book. So, yeah, so I basically was just, after the first few chapters talking about character Kweku, I was just very impatient to know what the whole story was. And there was a way that Taiye was able to, because I mean, there were close to 6 characters in the book, and she was able to, tell everyone's story or their side of the story in like 300 pages, which is like awesome that you're able to squeeze all of the information without making me feel bored. And she did a very, very, very good job with that. And so, yeah, it was everything, even though it was like back and forth from one character to another, like maybe character A, then just talk about character B, then C, and you're just like, okay, I want to know what happened with character A, like the end of character A's story, but you start B and it's like, oh, okay, this is another angle, very interesting, let me see, and all. So it was like a movie. I'm surprised that it doesn't have a movie yet, or maybe it has a movie film adaptation right now. I don't know, but yeah. And there's so many twists and turns. There were characters like character C and D. I'm like, okay, what happened to these kids? I just want to know because it seems like, because it seems like they had the worst secrets. But thinking about everything all together, it's like, well, everyone had their problems. They felt like their problems were probably more than other people's problems, or the other characters' problems, or they didn't think about the other characters' problems, or they didn't even think they had problems. They thought everybody else was perfect apart from them. But then when I got to read it, it's like, well, y'all are not perfect. Everybody's not perfect. We have all our issues and all. So, but it was. I'm trying. I don't know how this works, but I'm trying not to like say what the whole book is about, but without actually giving like a really, really long story and all. So, and the things that it just covers that I kind of understand, that sacrifices that sometimes parents have to make. And even though they seem like at that time that these sacrifices are the best things to do for, stop looking. These sacrifices are like the best things to do for their kids at that time, but without thinking things through. But the effect of those things, even though they're done with like pure intentions, somehow come back to bite like them. And their kids are probably scarred by those situations. And so it's like, yeah, every family has that. No matter how perfect the family is, there's sometimes that parents do, and parents are not perfect. It's like parenting is not an easy thing. I'm not a parent, but then I just feel like it's not easy at all. Life is not easy, but being a parent as well, it's not easy. Only by God's grace that is easy. So yeah, and being a parent, being able to, I mean, the character and his wife, the other character, they had 4 kids. And each one of those kids felt like the love that they received from their parents was not the same. It wasn't equal. Like it seemed like, oh, okay, this person is more favored than this person, even if it's like small situations, small actions. Like, okay, all right, I'm on my own now. My parents don't love me as much as they love me. So it's like jealousy is in there, or if it even also it also talks about um because the wife, the mother is biracial, and so she has two of her kids, even though she took more of the African race, like her skin, but her kids took her mother's um, appearance. Yes, they took her mother's appearance, who they never knew about, who they never met, who she hid from, who was like in her past, who was in their mother's past, and she never wanted to bring her up. And so these kids grow up with an appearance that's like different from their other siblings, different from their parents, and it's like, okay, yeah, we might be dark skinned a little, but I don't know who else in my family looks like this. And so that could have happened because maybe their mother was trying to protect them. So also sacrifices. So to her, she's sacrificing, not exposing them to what she experienced in her youth. But in that sense, they don't know their roots. It's one thing to know, like, okay, this is my grandpa, grandma, and all that. I never met I only met one of my grandparents, but I knew about them. So just not knowing sometimes, like maybe it's for their own good, but sometimes it just, especially with kids that don't even look like the parents, like they probably have some features, but it's like, okay, maybe, our mother is our mother, but maybe our father isn't our father. Okay, but so yeah, it was that. Just, those were the things that I really took out of the book, and I loved the book. And after reading it, I felt like reading those chapters that I didn't give a chance initially. The chapters that I felt like, ugh, these are boring chapters, and just not boring, but it wasn't giving me the information I wanted. So I just felt like, oh, going back to read it again. But then the book is like past due at the library. They're already like sending me emails and stuff like that. I mean, I can always renew it. I renewed it already. See how long I read this thing. I renewed it already. It expired, and so now I have to return it. I was like, I have to do this video now or never, you know? So, but if you guys have read this book before, or you know where I can get other reviews, let me know. Let me know. Peeping my 24 karat balloons. My birthday was a few weeks ago.